Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming out to our, well, used to be annual last lecture series, but this year we have a special treat for you. But let me tell you a little bit about last lecture and why we do this. Last lecture is based on a talk given by a Carnegie Mellon professor, Randy Pausch. And Randy was asked to impart some words of wisdom to students and tell them about what he's learned in his life. And it turns out, as Randy was preparing this speech, he actually found out he had pancreatic cancer. And that speech took on new meaning to him, as it technically was the last lecture he ever gave, because unfortunately he passed, a couple weeks after he gave the presentation. But what he took from it and what he used the opportunity for was to give students and staff and faculty at Carnegie Mellon the chance to learn what he learned in his life, lessons he can impart. And this took on this sort of presentation throughout different colleges and universities throughout the country. And what it's really turned into is we want the presenter to treat this as this will be the last opportunity they have to give a lecture in front of a crowd. What would they want them to know? What things have they learned along the way that they want to share? And that's why we started to do this. This is our actual fourth last lecture that we've done here. And we've gotten such a good response from this event that we just continue doing it, because it's an awesome opportunity to learn what someone else has learned along the way and what pieces of wisdom they want to impart. So that's a little bit about why we do this event. I'm going to invite our Dean of Liberal Arts, Ms. Donna Vandergrift, come up and introduce our speaker for today. Give her a round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I am truly honored to be able to introduce our speaker today, Bernadette Wright. Bern has been an influential educator since I have known her, and I wound up meeting her when I was a fairly new instructor at the institution, and she was working as the VP in the VPAP's office. Even back then, it was obvious that Bern knew everything. One of the things that most impresses me about Bernadette is that she understands the power of both education and of compassion. How she interacts with students is absolutely amazing. She has just the right balance between, I'm here to help you, and yeah, I'm not buying that. Her belief in education has led her on a path from being a secretary in the SMT division to earning an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, to teaching at the college level, and to serving as the Associate Dean of Liberal Arts. Her family also holds these same beliefs related to education, as they have all achieved many academic successes. Additionally, Bernadette regularly communicates these values to our students, especially to those who need to hear it most. Please help me welcome Bernadette to the podium.
Good afternoon. My name is Bernadette Wright, and I've worked at Rowan College at Burlington County for more than 40 years. I can genuinely say it has been a phenomenal ride. My career goal in high school was to become a legal or medical secretary. In 1974, the year that I graduated, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, African Americans held approximately 25% of jobs in clerical occupations. So at that time, it was a pretty lofty goal. I was hired as faculty secretary at Burlington County College in July of 1978. That was quick. My career goal was realized. So now what? I was a stay-at-home Army wife and mother for a year after moving to Fort Dix, New Jersey in 1977. When I decided to return to work, I was offered a job at Deborah Heart and Lung Hospital and BCC. Deborah paid $1 more an hour, but I decided on the college because my husband was going to get out of the Army and go to school under the GI Bill, and BCC had tuition reimbursement. Sometimes I think, if I had taken the job at Deborah, I might be retiring from a hospital administration position instead of a higher education administration position. This brings to light the significance of life choices. There are certain decisions like what you'll eat for lunch that may not matter much in the long run, but decisions like where you work, who you marry, and where you live can greatly impact your destiny. I loved my new job at BCC, and I was willing to learn everything that I could. I remember when I first started, there were stacks and stacks of paper. We used to have grades, paper grades, and they were all thrown in the cabinets. And I thought, why doesn't somebody organize this mess? Then my first fall semester hit, and I understood why. It was crazy busy preparing syllabi, adjusting faculty schedules, student schedules, textbooks, and tests. Things haven't changed much. Fall is still the busiest semester of the year, and now we've tripled our student enrollment. Eventually, I did straighten out all those papers and put them in alpha and chronological order. I couldn't help myself. I believe I have some OCD tendencies, which can be beneficial in certain circumstances. There was a faculty member who had been watching me during those first couple of months, and he said, "I wouldn't want to fight you. You don't give up." I'm also very pragmatic. I worked at a college and could take courses for free, so I signed up for English 101 and earned a final grade of C. I was not happy. I had put in a lot of time, work, and effort for a C. I wasn't feeling that. So I had to regroup. In high school, I easily earned A's and B's, so this was not happy for me. But I did return to the classroom. It took me 9 years, and I graduated with an AAS degree in secretarial science in 1991. Final GPA, 3.97, only one C. Over the years, I've applied for a number of in-house jobs, and I was unsuccessful because I was told I lacked administrative and supervisory experience. Meanwhile, I also applied for external positions, and I received several comparable job offers, but I turned them down. You see, I love my husband, and I loved my 3 babies. They were always my first priority. So at the end of the day, years ago, I used to say, I'm going home to my first job. I lived 4 miles from the Pemberton campus and attended most of my children's after-school activities: sports practices, piano lessons, dance lessons, helping with homework, completing daily chores, and all of the things that mothers do. So after careful consideration, each time I received an external job offer, I opted to stay close to home so I could pursue my first job. There are some things I would have done differently over the years, but that's not one of them. I have no regrets. I started dating my husband when we were 15. We got married at 19 and had our first son at 20. We did things fast in the 70s. Actually, we met when we were in 3rd grade. He was in the class for gifted students, and I was in a regular class. He used to be smarter than me, but I caught up and eventually surpassed him, and now I'm smarter. Dave and I have been married for 43 years, and he's definitely a keeper. He has a PhD in organizational leadership and worked for a project that had a program for developmentally disabled adults and families. Our oldest son, DJ, has a Doctor of Physical Therapy degree, and he's a physical therapist at a practice in Berlin. He's been married for 11 years and has 2 children. Our middle son, Darren, is a reading specialist at his former elementary school. He has 2 master's degrees, he's been married for 2 years, and he hopes to become a principal soon. Our daughter, Danielle, is an obstetrician. She has an MD and a master's in public health and works at Lord's Hospital in Camden. Each of them are working in fields that they're passionate about, and they're doing very well for themselves. Every day, I'm thankful, grateful, and amazed at what God has done for 2 high school students, from 2 high school graduates from New York City, who were both first-generation college students. In the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, he discusses the premise that success may not be as random as it appears. There's a lot of preparation and honing of skills and timing that set people and groups in the right place to take advantage of unique opportunities that come their way. Gladwell talks about the 10,000-hour rule, stating it takes 10,000 hours of practice to master a skill and become an expert. After you've reached expert status, it's likely that you'll be the most qualified for what some might consider to be a lucky break. During my journey, there happened to be a need for an online sociology instructor the semester after I completed my master's degree. I was hired. My official titles have been Faculty Secretary, Division Secretary of Business Studies, Division Secretary of Science, Math, and Technology, Administrative Assistant to the Vice President of Academic Programs, Part-Time Academic Advisor, Sociology Adjunct, and Associate Dean of Liberal Arts. It only took me 32 years and 4 college degrees to go from Secretary to Associate Dean. Sometimes it feels like it was 32 long and complicated years, and other times, 32 very short years. I was gaining my 10,000 hours of experience and becoming an expert in resolving student and faculty problems in higher education. You see, even though I was labeled a good secretary, I was making key administrative decisions long before I received an administrative title. To be honest, I believe my 10,000 hours started well before I graduated from high school. It began with my birth order. I was the second of 7 children born to Elnam and Lina Brown. We grew up in a house in Jamaica, Queens, where 9 people shared 1 bathroom. I was responsible for helping my mom coordinate daily schedules and household chores. Try managing that scenario. I earned an associate degree in business administration in 1998, a bachelor's degree in general studies in 2001 from Indiana University, and after several promptings from my husband, I received a Master's of Science degree in administration from Central Michigan University in 2008. Even though I enjoyed learning and was always looking for new adventures, I had this resistance toward completing the master's degree because I didn't think I needed it. When it became obvious that I was not going to be able to move into administration without that degree, I conceded, signed up for courses at the master's program on McGuire Education Center. My husband says by K&S, kicking and screaming. In this case, I could not have become associate dean nor sociology professor without it. These positions have definitely been the most rewarding in my time at RCBC. I've been in the trenches of higher education for a long time, a secretary, student, parent, community member, administrative support, administrator, and adjunct professor. I became a resource for students and families by listening and working through many of their issues and frustrations, helping them understand procedures, ideas, and pathways about being successful in college. I learned and shared insights regarding studying, completing assignments, developing a plan for graduation, and transferring. I recall a time when an instructor shared her frustrations with me about a disruptive student that she couldn't seem to get through to. I said, the student doesn't know the work and he's covering up by making jokes and being disruptive. She hadn't considered that the behavior might be a defense mechanism. She took a different approach, offered one-on-one assistance, and soon after, the disruption stopped and the student's grades improved. I would say I've seen it all, but I haven't. Each year brings new challenges and nuances that I haven't seen before, so my job never gets boring or repetitive. Most of the time, I could provide solutions for students that they were thrilled with because I was able to show them viable options they were unaware of. Accordingly, I'm not afraid to say no. No, that is not an option. No, you cannot earn a grade and request a refund because you don't feel like you learned anything in the classroom. I've also learned how to have hard conversations with people without being offensive. At least that's what I've been told. It has been rewarding to share with and learn from students, staff, and faculty about their personal joys, struggles, economic challenges, raising children, going to college while working full-time, and persevering through personal and family struggles. I've heard some juicy things that I dare not repeat in public or private. And I know some fantastic anecdotes. I've had students and parents say, "Do you mind if I give you a hug?" That really made me feel like I made a difference in their lives and that I was able to provide hope in many desperate situations. I do believe my impact has been pivotal in many lives, and I've absolutely enjoyed being an advocate and serving the RCBC community. A college education, even an associate degree, can increase self-esteem, earning power, socioeconomic status, health outcomes and well-being, as well as access to jobs and careers never imagined. My goal is to expose everybody, students, staff, faculty, neighbors, people in the park, enemies, everybody, to opportunities available to them that facilitate personal growth and academic and professional success. A college education enhanced my worldview and exposed me to endless possibilities. I learned the typical things like how to communicate better, analyze and synthesize information, and conduct research to develop an informed opinion. But the master's degree, that brought me out of the shadows. I was signing my name instead of signing someone else's name with my initials behind it. It gave me the ability to sit at the table with decision makers and be involved in helping students and family become better. Better academically, socially, economically, and emotionally. The degree didn't teach me how to be an associate dean. The 10,000 hours of practice did. Practice at being diligent and not giving up. Practice at not settling for chaos. Practice at listening to people and searching for viable solution when it appeared that no one else would take the time. Practice at taking charge of situations, leading people, and managing processes. And most importantly, practice at keeping my word. These are the things that prepared me for the job. The degree provided an opportunity for me to receive the job offer. I've gleaned, learned, and embraced many things in this journey, and I'd like to share a few with you. First, don't compare yourself to others. Ask yourself, what do I want to do in this situation? Why do I want to do it? What are the potential outcomes and consequences? Take some time to answer these questions for yourself. It requires a lot of self-reflection and soul-searching that may not be pleasant, but you'll emerge with greater focus and better prepared to chart a pathway for your definition of success. Don't desire a luxury car because your neighbor has one and he or she appears happy. Social media and advertising has all of us reaching for fake lives and empty symbols of success. Second, find something you enjoy doing and do it regularly. Something that makes you smile, even laugh. If it's your job or career field, that's great. And if it's not, that's okay too. There are many other things that bring joy to your life and provide a sense of purpose and fulfillment. I love to sing, dance, shop, laugh, talk, exercise, and spend time with my family. Did I say shop? Third, work hard and play hard. The difficulty is that you have to work to rest. Don't spend all of your time relaxing and playing without putting in the discipline and hard work. Conversely, don't spend all your time putting in long hours at work and school without taking a break to celebrate and reflect. I tended to fall into the latter category, but I'm learning the art of chilling and working on becoming an expert at that. Next, what you do matters. I was unable to express my value as an employee for many years. Others defined me as a good secretary, but what did I think? Rather, what did I know to be true? After being unsuccessful in attaining a couple of positions that I really wanted, I had to find resources and people to help me articulate my experiences, transferable goals, skills, and plan. I took responsibility for setting myself up for better opportunities. I went back for the master's, in the words of my husband, kicking and screaming, and I learned to passionately communicate my skills and abilities that I bring to the table, why I love doing what I do, and how I plan to make things better. Lastly, live life like it's golden, because it is. Next month, I'll be retiring after 40 years, 6 months, 2 days, 5 weeks, 15 minutes, and 55 seconds. But who's counting? It has been a pleasure serving you and working with you. I still feel young, healthy, and vibrant, and that I have a lot of living to do. I'm shifting gears and heading for new opportunities. I'm excited to continue the ride and see what unique opportunities lay ahead for me. I will continue practicing my 10,001 hours of being an advocate of empowerment. Thank you. Thank you. I want to take this time to thank Dr. Ciosi and executive staff for having me be a part of the last lecture series, and a special thanks to John Costa and his team for inviting me. When I received the initial request, I was intimidated, but I said yes anyway. I want to thank the many friends, colleagues, and associates who I'm currently working with and who I've worked with in the past. Intentionally or unintentionally, you have impacted my life, and I'm grateful.